think that the President Xi's Belt and Road Initiative is a brilliant stroke because it's bringing the world together. It's making more supply chains. It's making more two-way trade between countries. It's speeding up development. It's speeding up trade. I think it's a wonderful thing. I do believe that because it's relatively new, it still has some rough edges. What are those rough edges? The rough edges, basically, to me, are that sometimes countries spend more money than they're able to afford. Some people call that the debt trap, but I don't think that should be called the debt trap. I think it's a lack of attention by the recipient countries to know what they need and what they can afford. China's giving them a great opportunity, but it needs to be an opportunity that will help the country grow and that the country can pay for. It's a 21st century initiative to open up markets around the world and to make a two-way flow of trade. And I think they're jealous. I think they're angry that China did this. And so now we have to talk about something called the Thucydides trap. The Thucydides trap is a theory that a Harvard historian has put forward. And that is that a rising nation will always threaten an established nation and usually go to war, in most cases go to war. So now we have China, a rising nation. We have America, the established leader nation, and it's being challenged. And I think this is just history repeating itself all over again. We've seen it before. And so it's very dangerous. And I think that that's why there is this bias. It's a jealousy. Nobody likes to slip from number 1 to number 2 or number 3. And now China has come out into the world. And I think it's time, but it's making people jealous. And I think it's unfortunate because if we could work together on these kinds of issues, for example, if US was willing to buy technology from China, let's say high-speed railway technology, it would make our 19th century rail system into a 21st century one. But we're afraid of China. We think China's putting cameras, some crazy people think China's putting cameras in the subway cars looking up women's skirts or looking at some report that some guy, officer going to the Pentagon. This is ridiculous. And imagine if China could take advantage of our superior experience in terms of services, providing services, and and working together on the technology. It would be really great for the world, even though there's many issues ahead that we have to address. Taiwan is one of them. South China Sea is another. I'm hopeful that we can have reasonable, rational dialogues about this. Let's face it, we're the 2 most powerful countries in the world. We have to get along or there will be no more world. I always like to say, quote, what Albert Einstein said. Somebody once asked Dr. Einstein, people asked him, Dr. Einstein, what weapons are going to be used in World War III? And he thought, he said, you know, I don't know, but I can tell you that in World War IV, the weapons will be sticks and stones. And frankly, I think Dr. Einstein was overly optimistic. So the bottom line is, if we want to continue our bilateral relations, if we want to continue this world as we know it, with all the challenges that we face, we have to find ways to work together on most of these issues, because otherwise we're not going to be here to work on them.